I think we're on.
We're back. Got anything flashed from
I've
new?
I've made
Like some titles or something?
Amazing titles.
You've had 8 months.
Feed the backs. Look at these titles. How about that? Was that good?
Yeah, it was a ball rolling. I mean, is that taking you 8 months to do?
Yep, that's very, very dramatic. Let's get straight into it. The All Black
Where
camp,
did you buy your shirt?
I bought my shirt. It was a gift.
Did you
Like the
have that last year, or is that new?
Well, it's
Was it a Christmas present?
We're here to talk about rugby, not about my shirt. No one cares about my shirts.
I care about you, Ricardo. No, I don't. But I do care about your shirts and your taste.
So the All Black camp, we've had the latest one in Wellington, and Te Toiroa Tahuriorangi was named as one of the halfbacks. What do you think?
Oh, I think it's an outstanding selection. I believe that he will be the third halfback for the upcoming Test match series. I think they've, well, not probably 100%, but what they would have done by inviting him down is see that he's keen to learn, see where his fitness is at, make sure that he wants to get better, and then if he shows all those things, which I'm pretty sure he will, I think he'll be there. What are you doing, Ricardo?
I pressed the button because what I want is for people to send us questions, and I needed to click on it. But on Facebook, you're like 30 seconds behind. So not only do I have to listen to you now, but I have to listen to you again.
Do I have to do the same with you?
No.
Good.
What do you think they're getting out of these camps, the All Blacks?
Actually, when I was in coaching Italy, it's one of the things that I used to do. The hardest thing for Steve or any international coach is that you've only got a limited amount of time to get your team together. And what's normally happening, like the French will probably have a 2-week camp. They'll fly down here. They would have been together a wee while, and they stay together every single day. So by the time they get down, they've probably got more organisation than you. So from a coaching point of view, it just gets you the opportunity to get the team in. You don't do a lot physically. They'll do some testing, but they'll probably start talking about new systems of play just to start get the brain ticking over.
When you say new system of play, obviously we had a plan to play the Lions and go through the Northern Tour. Will we have a different plan for this year, or will we evolve last year's plan?
I think they'll probably make tweaks to the plan this year with having the idea of changing significantly for the World Cup. That's what I believe. So there won't be massive changes. Like I think that the interesting thing talking about Steve Hansen and his coaching group, the last time the World Cup came around, they just wanted to do what they've been doing, but better performance under pressure, better reaction under pressure. So I think rugby's been relatively stagnant from a creative attacking point of view just lately. So it'll be interesting to see whether next year the All Blacks bring something.
And do you think that's because, I mean, everyone's got an eye on the World Cup. Do you think every international coach is just showing enough to win, but actually thinking, well, I can't show everything because I've got 18 months, 2 years to the World Cup?
Yeah, well, that's the balance. That's the balance you have to reach. If you're going to put something new in, you need to make sure that it's in the system, that the guys get it and they can execute it really well. So that timing is important. I think the more you study the game, there is a lot more teams going away from a lot of organisation, reading what's in front of you, great decision making. But I still think to hang on to the ball while you're under pressure, we're still seeing pods, we're still seeing balls out the back. So for me, I think the last 4 years has been about skill execution under pressure. I mean, one of the things that's really impressed me about the African sides and especially the big men is you're starting to see that subtle skills from the big locks, from the props, starting to do offloads and that sort of stuff. So I think the innovation of sport over the last 4 years between World Cups has been that. So I don't know what we'll be bringing next year. So
we're getting quite a bit of hellos coming through. We had someone from Poland. We've had Alan Thompson from Calgary in West Calgary. How do you say that?
Calgary.
Calgary.
Is it Calgary or Kalgoorlie?
Kalgoorlie, Western Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We've had Manola from Bergamo in Italy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Buongiorno, perché la mattina là, vero?
See, because what's interesting is the All Blacks got this amazing Facebook page with, I think over 4 million followers, which is incredible. And you're a great All Black, and you've got 900 Instagram followers, which is really well done. Well, not quite. You got 852.
Yeah, but I didn't know what Instagram was 12 months ago, so I'm pretty proud of myself.
What's
actually,
your?
That's all my family.
I asked you before what your handle was.
Don't really know.
And you didn't know. It's at JK Rugby. Is that right? So let's just see each week if we can get you from 852. Like after about 10 weeks, I reckon we could get to 1,000 followers.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not sure because
is that a lot?
It's a long time ago since you played.
Is that a lot? How many?
1,000's a lot. 1,000 for you is a lot of followers.
What do you mean for me? How many have you got?
Oh, let's not talk about me.
How many have you got?
I got 14,000.
You have not got 14,000.
Yeah.
I need 15,000.
Yeah,
I'll pay. I'll bribe people. I'll do whatever it takes.
Let's get into
as long as I can beat that.
Let's get into the Super Rugby competition. New Zealand teams. Obviously the Blues are going through a tough time, but the other 4 New Zealand teams, I think, if it went to the playoffs now, all the New Zealand teams except our team would qualify. So just have a look. Let's get this out of the way early. The Highlanders versus the Blues.
Gatland deep, charge, could be a try, will be a try, Dylan Hunt. An offside call against Patrick Tuipulotu. Pressure is on here. The Landers, one out. Everything but the line. There's the line, there's the try, back to back. Gatland. Cover Pryor with a good clean out. Ruru over the line. Back for Franklin. Now Whitelock. Numbers wide. Right to the line. Frizzell bags a double. Ruru. He's fine. Call for offside. Money as front of Estason says beat it. Now to Vita Lee. Speaking of beating. Beats one, beats two. Hamilton again. Out to the left. Here's Frizzell. Rolls it round the back. Shannon Frizzell. Hamilton. Yes, he does.
And he's away. Quick tap.
Ben Smith. Inside ball. Shannon Frizzell gets a hat-trick. Full time, and the Highlanders, for the first time, have made it 4 straight over the Blues. And
So you were at that game.
Yeah.
But let's look at the positives. Shannon Frizzell for the Highlanders. I think he's like 22 years of age. The same weekend his brother was playing for St George over at Mount Smart, but a tremendous athlete. He's come through, grew up in Tonga, played for Tasman. Got his opportunity with a few injuries, and looks a very interesting prospect.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about New Zealand rugby is every year we have, a couple of players that stick their hand up. They've come through the ITM system. They play well in there. They get selected. You don't know a lot about them, and then boom, they're on the scene. He's hardworking. The thing about the Blues Highlanders game last year, and everyone talks about the Blues results at the moment, but what you got to realise at this level, it's only percentages. So the Blues had a horrible start, and then I thought they did fantastically well to fight back into it. But I think in the second half, there was just the difference was the Highlanders executed way better and took their chances, whereas I think
so.
The
Blues...
Now,
explain to me: is that skill and execution under pressure? Is it making the right decisions under pressure? Combination?
All of the above.
Yeah,
all of the above. Yeah, executing under pressure, doing little things like exiting properly, taking your opportunities when they're there. So I think the Highlanders, and I thought he was outstanding. I mean, last year, we have 3 or 4 new All Blacks. They step up. And I think this guy might not make it this year, but for the end of the year tour, if he continues to play like he's playing, but he's got a fair shot. And the interesting thing is, I was talking to Karen.
Sorry.
The interesting thing is this current All Black selection panel will pick on form.
So let's just talk briefly about the Blues. I mean, you've been in this situation where things aren't going your way and you have a series of losses. What that does to your confidence, it just makes you a split second slower to make a decision because you're just not sure? Or I mean, it becomes self-perpetuating, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, confidence is the right word. Things just don't go your way. I think the interesting thing for the Blues, and it was interesting that Michael Redmond came out the other day and said that they're going to support Tana Umaga, and I agree with that. I think that there's been enough at the beginning of the season.
There's been enough coaches sacked.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, I think that it's possibly a 5-year turnaround. He's got 15 injuries at the moment, or 16 injuries. And I know that people say, oh, but the other franchises have had the same. The interesting thing when you're lacking confidence, when your leadership group's on the sideline, it just gets that much harder. And when you're trying to turn around an environment, you know, and I think that's what the Blues are trying to do, it does take a while.
Robert, from Portugal, who would you be your starting choice for the back three in the All Blacks?
That's a great question. Portuguese rugby team was that coached by Bryce Bevan?
I think it was at one stage.
It was. I think it was. I don't know if you could confirm that for us. Look, the back three, great call. Do we go Ben Smith onto the wing? Is Israel Dagg going to show some form and get back at fullback? Do you go Barrett, Wasaki Naholo, and Ben Smith? The good thing is
Rieko Ioane, the best player in the world last year on the wing.
We said back three right now.
Yeah,
I'm putting him at centre.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
What, do you think I was going to leave him out?
Well, anything's possible.
No, we're talking about the best.
So you
back
play him
three.
at centre. If we had a test match against France next week.
When's the World Cup, Ricardo?
Or next year?
Yeah.
So I'm asking the question. So if we're playing France tomorrow and you put Rico on your team, you'd play him at centre?
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully some French people watching, because I'd love to know what sort of team you're going to send down in the summer. Sometimes it's a bit of a, you know, what we're going to get, and I think it's important that the French team sends their best side, so hopefully that'll happen. When are you going to try him at centre if it's not now? That was a question back to you. Are you going to wait till next year when it's too late, or would you rather play him in a couple of games against France, see how it goes?
Interesting. I mean, I thought he was so good as a winger that you would keep him on the wing. Like, you know, I think...
yeah, but if you start going through our...
So what about this for a back three?
No, I don't want to listen to your back
Ben Smith, Geordie Barrett...
You're a forward.
And someone else.
And slow.
Rieko Ioane.
And not even fast.
Yeah. And Israel Dagg and Waisake Naholo. Why don't we play a back five?
Well, actually, that's what we probably should do.
And just get everyone to wait and let them...
No, but seriously, I want to hear your back three. That was interesting.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I mean, that's why I'd hate to be a selector, because you're leaving some incredible talents out. I mean,
well, the good thing is they don't have to play our team, Ricardo. So
yeah.
What's your back three?
I would have Ben Smith, Geordie Barrett, and Rieko Ioane.
Geordie Barrett where?
At fullback.
Ben Smith on the
wing.
You're leaving Waisake out?
On the bench. Or
the bench to cover what?
No, I'll put it this. You're the coach. I'm here to ask you questions.
McKenzie?
Yep, I have him as first five fullback cover. So I have Waisake Naholo on the bench because I'm covered fullback.
Okay. Just as well, Steve, just as well our teams don't get slipped.
But I really like Israel Dagg too. So I'd put him somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting that
and I quite like Ben Lamb. So,
well, what do you want in there, mate? Like, this is the whole thing about selection. You have to leave someone out.
So this is why you were a coach and I was a journalist, because I don't have the guts to make those decisions.
Yeah, I mean,
I just like to criticise you when you get them wrong.
Okay, let's make it easy for you. Write your guarantee, or tell me you're guaranteed.
Ben Smith.
Okay, where?
Somewhere.
That's a good position. Ben, play somewhere.
Wing fullback.
Wing fullback. You idiot.
Is that not a position anymore?
No, it isn't football.
I don't know. That's why you're on the show, because you're the expert. I'm here to ask you questions. What do you think? Who's your back three?
I told you my back three, and you looked at me as if I was an idiot.
I wasn't listening.
Normal.
All right, let's move on from the back three. What about Ben Lamb? What are the seasons he's had?
Yeah, look, I think that Ben has been a slow burner. I mean, I know that
because you had him in the Blues, didn't you?
Yeah, and he was the fastest man in Auckland for a long time. So he's big,
all of Auckland,
strong. Yeah, he
Oh,
was
the
an
whole
Auckland-
fastest guy in Auckland.
Yeah, it's an Auckland sprint champ.
Wow.
Yeah. And so big, fast, strong. He would drift in and drift out a wee
You
bit.
carry on. I'll just turn the TV
Yeah,
back
that'd
on.
be good. Yeah, you're the technical guy. So drift in and drift out a wee bit from a concentration point of view. I think he's sorted that. I think the change to the Hurricanes, a bit of adversity has really helped him. He's a lovely young man, marine biologist, I believe. So yeah. But I think he will, for the All Blacks to have confidence, I think they're going to have to see him a little bit more. So I would say that if he carries on with this form, and then ITM as well, I think he could be a big shout out for November.
Because I'll just put it back on you. When you
that's strange.
first made the Auckland team in 1983, we all thought you should have been picked, but they said, that's cool. You've had a great season. Now do it again.
Yeah, I think I think that's fair enough. I think you have to consistently show form. I think those measures are shorter, so don't wait a year. Don't wait till next season. I think for the All Blacks, they are together long enough after Super Rugby. They do championship, then they go on the Northern Tour. I'm pretty sure that it'll be the Northern Tour. Now, this particular Northern Tour, I think there's a couple of games in Japan, one against Australia, one against Japan. Then I think there's England, Ireland, Italy. So you're a year out from the World Cup. You have to know, because the next year, very rarely would you bring someone in a bolter. I know Nihi Milner-Skudder did it for the last World Cup, but you'd be settled on your, 32. I think they take 33 players now.
Can we just move on from that thought? Because one of the other, there was a game that everyone thought was going to be a bit of a blowout, and actually was a bit closer than everyone thought it was going to be, which was the Crusaders Sunwolves.
So they're playing under advantage. Delaney, little shove of the ball into space. Stepping Mike Delaney over the top, and Ryan Cruddy scores with less than a minute on the clock. They look to go wide. Parker can't make it. Tackle made by Barrett, but the ball's still there. Wide it goes, and Little scores in the corner. Michael Little. Backward. Got treacherous conditions now. Oh, there's another iffy-looking tackle, and he's pulled down about 12 from the line. Quickly through the hands to Crotty, and Crotty goes right through the middle of them. On a number of occasions, Romano in a bit of space. Away it goes to Crotty. Nice ball back in field to Bridge. Turns it up to Stratton. And Jack Stratton on debut will score.
Holwood.
It's a great performance by the Crusaders, because they had a lot of not regular starters. So, but the Sunwolves, who in the weeks earlier had really struggled in defence, their defence was outstanding, led by Michael Little, who, great performance the second five.
Yeah, son of Lau Lau, fantastic young player. It was a shame to see him go to Japan so early. I mean, he's only a young man, so hopefully we'll get him back, but he's playing well. I think what Jamie will be trying to do is make sure that the defensive line is getting off very, very fast. It's a Japanese style to play. They want to get up. They want to get there quick. They want to cut you down over the advantage line. Now, the Sunwolves haven't won any football games, but they've actually played some really good rugby. I think Little, the halfback, who's keeping Fumi out of the starting side, and we've all seen Fumi play for the Highlanders, and he's gone back home. So, yeah, I think they are structurally really sound. I think their kicking game's pretty good under Brownie, but they do need to win.
And what
some
about
football
Delaney?
games. Yeah, that was he's like a good red wine. Just keeps getting better. How old is he?
He's late 50s.
Nice.
No, he's a young man comparatively, but he's actually such a value proposition for a Super Rugby team. You can bring him off. He's a leader. He's been there, done that. He's experienced. He's still got plenty of gas. He's can control a team around the field. I was really impressed with him.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the season, when Razor Robinson selected him, everyone went, "Wow, that's interesting, but smart." And I think that the injuries that they've had in their pivot, You know, it's an important role in a football team now. They've got to run the game plan. They've got to, run the kicking game. So for me to have someone like him to step in when you need him is,
and I think the Sunwolves next game, I think, is the Hurricanes, and Nehe Milner-Skudder is part of the squad. So great to see him back.
Yeah, I saw Nehe a couple of weeks ago.
I put him in my back five that I named before. I'm having a back six.
It was back three.
I'm having a back six.
It was back three.
And Nehe Milner-Skudder's in there as well. Because he covers wing fullback. He's a wing fullback.
No, I spoke to him about that a couple of weeks. He's looking really good. He's obviously had a couple of bad shoulders each side, bit of bad luck since the last World Cup. Hasn't had a lot of time on the field, but he's taken his time with his rehab. He's back into contact. He's looking really good, looking really solid. And I just think that if he hits form,
hard to leave out.
Yeah, he's hard to leave out. And so then what happens to Ioane?
Well, because I like Ryan Crotty at centre.
I do?
Yeah.
And what do you do with Sonny Bill?
I'm going to have three centres.
Okay. So Ricardo's going to put all 23 on the field.
I've got the last
two. It just shows someone out.
But isn't it just what a tough job?
Yeah, and then you've got some of the young guys pushing through. I think the insides, obviously Smith and Perenara are always competing. So I think that's pretty solid. Bowden Barrett continues to get better. So he's kicked on from being World Player of the Year 2 years in a row.
And don't forget,
and then we get a little bit, what are we going to do at 12 and 13? I think we get a little bit, okay.
Well, we've got Anton Brown.
Yes.
And I mean,
Sonny's been out injured, but coming back. I know he'd be pretty determined to show some form. Apparently he's back next week.
But you talk about Anton Brown.
Laumape, you've forgotten him, haven't you?
Yeah, I haven't forgotten Laumape.
No,
he's outstanding.
Yeah.
So I put him in as well. But let's have a look at the Chiefs because they took the Reds, just cleaned them up, really.
Holwood to the middle, brought in well.
Good ball.
Skip in and add his shoulder to the back of this maul. Formed well by the Chiefs. Morotta gets in there and tries to disrupt. Harirangi has a look to the right. He's super quick. Taharirangi. He skips out to the right. Crashed up there by Fa'auli. On they go! Inside the Chiefs. The pick and go is good. The visitors have the first 5-pointer. Harirangi. Little bullet ball from the base there for Solakula. Keep it tight again. They got paid the last time they went at the Reds in this fashion. Kane out the back to McKenzie. McKenzie holds it up for Ngatai. Super line from Ngatai. And the Chiefs bounce it out to a 15-0 lead. Marty McKenzie just whips that one across the pipe. Aloi Marlo gets it one further out. And it's the hooker.
That's a pretty impressive performance by the Chiefs. I mean, the Reds under Brad Thorne have shown a bit of improvement this year. Young team. The Australian teams are just, I think that's 35 zip. I mean, we need them to be stronger. We keep saying it. But
look, I think, and I've spoken about this a lot, I think there's some big decisions Raymond Castle needs to make. And if I was here, I'd be on a plane. I'd be coming to talk to Steve Hansen about getting Manly, Randwick, Brothers back into the ITM. I think they need to go back to tribalism and traditionalism. So get their old traditional clubs. Club rugby in Sydney is going well. They're getting 5,000 to 6,000 people there. Bring them into the ITM, so that we can start pushing. They can start pushing people through. Every year we talk about who's new. Players coming through.
But they've got their own national championship.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Well,
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. So we can name 5 or 6 new guys coming through, and they can't. And I just think they need to really restructure over there. They need to get back to some good college football and then into ITM, come and play in our comp if the New Zealand Rugby Union let them. And then I think that'll prepare more players for the next level.
Oh, nice theory. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be...
Well, you got a better one?
No, I just...
Well, then why do you look at them as if an idiot?
Because I didn't like your theory.
Well, give me your theory.
I think
how are they going to fix it?
They've got to focus within their own borders and get it right.
So get rid of another franchise.
No, I don't think so. I think
So you got no answers.
I'd invest in some overseas coaches, maybe, and bring in some.
I've got overseas coaches.
Bring in a Joe Schmidt quality or a Vern Cotter or some of those guys. Not.
So you're blaming the coaches now, eh?
No. I'm just saying that some of those guys.
You've got no solid argument.
No, I'm just disagreeing with you for the sake of it. Is pretty much what I'm doing. And now talking about South Africa, which you didn't. But Brian Habana's announced today that he's retiring at the end of the season. I mean, he's injured, so he's not playing a lot at the moment. But what a magnificent footballer Brian Habana was.
Great career. I think he's won everything, hasn't
everything. Like
everything.
World Cup, Heineken, Super Rugby.
Cuddy Cup. Did he win the Cuddy
Cup?
I
think so.
He's won everything. And a great, stellar career.
What made him such a great winger?
Fast.
Yeah.
Fast. Elusive at pace. I used to like the way that he swerved more than stepped at a lot of occasions. So he'd be coming at you and then he'd slightly swerve, accelerate. His work rate was really good. I remember when he first hit the scene, he was quite unpolished and he worked really hard on his game, worked hard on the high ball. And he's had a fantastic career. And there's some talking about him. I've been watching the African conference and there's some really exciting players coming through right now that probably had Brian Habana as their hero. And some of the tries they're scoring, some of the athletes that are coming through, I think that if Africa get their selection right, they're going to be a real force.
And Rassie Erasmus is a smart man, as their coach. So, I think I agree with you. I think when you see some of the athletes coming through their Super Rugby teams and some of the guys they're going to bring back.
Should I care if you agree with me?
Yeah, you should. Yeah. Oh, apparently you've got 3 more Instagram followers. So you're now up to 856 Instagram followers.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, people.
Yeah, nice.
Appreciate it.
Oh, no. So, 2 of them have cut off. So, no, you've got 1. I agree with you about the South Africans. But I want to ask you this.
And the skill level, if you watch the skill level of the bigger guys, I think that's what they've really been working on. I mean, the game the other, getting back to the Waratahs game, I think that might have been mental, but I've never seen errors like it from an Australian team the other night. Whereas what we're seeing in the African conferences, we're seeing a lot more subtle skills and it coming off, which just takes hard work.
And so the Australians have brought Mick Byrne.
Yep.
And that's his job, is to improve those skills. Now, that's not going to happen in 1 year, is it?
No, it doesn't happen in 1 year. Well, it depends on how hard you work, how long you're prepared to stay after training and work on your skills and do your visualization, because they say it takes 65 times for the neuronic side of it to, is it a word?
It is now.
It is now. We'll make it up. To
neuronic. Yeah, neuronic. I think no, but let's go with it.
No. But for it to become habit. So, you got to keep working on it. And it's frustrating when you start because you feel so uncoordinated and it's frustrating. But, if you work hard enough, I reckon in a year you start seeing some progress.
Yeah. Now, you watched the Blackfern Sevens?
Yep, I did.
Yeah. I mean,
I watched the
Commonwealth Games was incredible.
Outstanding.
But that try by Kelly Brazier, where she just backed herself from 75, 80 out was like
special.
Probably one of the rugby highlights of the year so far. But then to see them back it up in Japan, beating Australia in the semi, and then putting France away in the final.
And lots of adversity, lots of their key players down with like the mumps and getting injured in the warm up. But I just thought the resolve that they've shown since the Olympics, obviously Olympics really, really stung. And they came away and they've just continued to get better and better and better. They're a resilient football team. They're a very good football team. But also they're playing with guts and determination for each other.
And what about Portia Woodman? I mean, she would be one of the best wingers in the world, full stop.
Yep, I agree with that.
No comment. Yeah.
I mean, what she did in the final against Australia in the Commonwealth Games was outstanding, just at the right moments. I mean, she's really tired. She plays all the games. But I just think they've got a really solid team ethic at the moment that is about belief, about working hard for each other.
I'm agreeing with you again, actually.
I know, it's wrong.
And I'll tell you another player, Niall Williams.
Yeah.
What a heart. I mean, in the Com Games when she went back and made that tackle, but her work rate in Japan, is just like inspiring.
Yeah. I think she got injured too.
Yeah.
So
this is after they won in Japan, we caught up with them, and well, not us, because we're here in the lounge, but someone caught up with them and they had some things to say.
I'm honestly speechless for once in my life. I can't even explain this moment. Like, we took every game as a final, and this last final where we got the gold, we just gave it everything we had left, and it's been a tough week preparing for these last 2 days of footy, but it's totally been worth it. The girls recovered well after Com Games, and I'm just speechless.
I can't really explain how grateful I am to be here with the girls amongst these talented girls. To get those wins, it's just a bonus. So just so crazy, and it's just I'm so overwhelmed by all the support and love we've had from everyone over these last few weeks. All credit goes to the girls. I've been in this team for maybe 5+ years now, and every day when I wake up, I'm inspired by every person in this team to get up, give it my all, and die and leave everything on that field every day.
They've trained the house down, and then when we've got into tournament mode, they're just worried about themselves, and we've been able to show money and heart out there, and that's all we can ask from this team. The amount of adversity we've been through and the amount of injuries with Niz going down for that final, that's heartbreaking. So everyone stands up, everyone does what they need to do, and the team just flows along the way it's supposed to.
Scott and I was wondering what these things are behind our heads. They're just like lights, nothing. He wondered if they're hair regrowth units, which, if they are, they're very, very bad because it's not working.
Yeah, not for you, it's not.
And someone here was saying that apparently we're going to win the next 2 World Cups, and then South Africa is going to win the 3rd one, so in 8 years' time. So that's good to have a crystal ball. So just to finish up, there's been a lot of talk in the last few weeks about Izzy Folau and then obviously Teacher Perenara and Brad Weber have had their thoughts about it too, and a lot of debate. And I thought the best thing about the whole argument was the video that AIG put out yesterday, and I thought it was a beautiful piece of work. And a lot of joking aside, because this is outstanding. And watch it and listen and think, and we'll catch you next week.
Millions of people gathered to see this final. The 2 best teams in competition, the best teams in the world. There's so much at stake. What an event.
They knock down every barrier. They overwhelm every foe, no matter how powerful. Through strength, through teamwork, through diversity. They fight as one, but that one is made from everyone. Because the next battle is different. The next enemy is truly formidable and deeply devious. It is discrimination. An enemy that cannot be fought alone. It must be defeated together. It will take more than 15. It will take thousands, millions. And now, AIG has combined all the colors of the rainbow to create a united black.
Diversity is strength.
Join our team.